At this point, it's only a matter of time. Final Fantasy is a ticking time bomb just waiting to go off, and in today's video, we're going to find out how bad it's going to be. At this point, most players understand that Final Fantasy is going to be huge, but how many players now are checking in to see how the pre-orders are doing? Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you again for hanging out with me for another video. Now, the interesting thing about Final Fantasy is most of these cards we already know are sold out, and that's without seeing anything from really the spoiler season. And yeah, we are getting closer to that date with a release date of June 13th. We're probably 2 or 3 weeks away from seeing the deluge that is going to be the spoiler season for this product. And that's where things are going to just go off the rails. I'm not sure how players are going to take it, but either way, this FOMO event, it's going to happen, it's going to get bad, and players who think they're missing out are going to feel it tenfold when spoiler season comes around. Now, when we take a look at the cards and the actual pre-orders, the cards haven't changed. We know there's nothing new to see for the spoiler season. One card kind of came up, but when we look at things like the starter kit, I want you guys to pay attention to the top little corner in the middle there where it says 3,000 bought in just the past month. 3,000 of the starter kit. Now, if you started looking for other products, you're probably going to find out you just can't find them, you can't buy them, nor can you get your hands on them, and that's just something you're going to have to deal with. I know a lot of players are talking about the pre-release and the fact that these things are going for $100, but let's not forget that when we're looking at the play boosters and stuff like that, they should technically be in stock, but as we've all learned, that's not really what's happening. What we've found out from a lot of stores recently is, well, depending on allocation, most of these things are going to be gone on opening weekend, and then they'll just be a drought. And this is where Wizards of the Coast might be panicking a bit in the backdrop. They'll keep their calm demeanor in the ivory tower, and they'll think of amazing things to say, but ultimately, they only have so many coming from the printer. And they may not quite be ready for what's about to happen. Now, that being said, sure, they will get a reprint going right away. They may have already started the process or already have it on the books, but it's still not going to come quick enough for most players to really get involved. And this is just the play booster boxes. They're going to be around for a couple of years. But depending on how busy the printer is, how many print runs is that really? And I bet you they wish they could adjust their numbers at this point. Everyone I know, everyone, is looking forward to playing and seeing what the cards are. Maybe they hate it. Maybe they love it, but they still want to see what the cards are going to be. They want to either have something to hate talk about or something to love talk about. Either way, good or bad press, it's what everyone's thinking. Now, if you're one of the players looking for a collector booster box of Final Fantasy, you know that, well, here's a Canadian price of $7.99.95. It's completely sold out. It did start at $6.99 for the 15 minutes it was online, and now you can see it's gone. The only way you are going to find a collector box for pre-ordering somehow is going to be in the secondary market. Or if you're lucky, you may find an LGS that hasn't put any allocations up, didn't take pre-orders, and then you'll consider yourself lucky, and that's assuming you can wait in line and beat out the other fans who are hoping to get a box. Now, if we are looking at things like the collector box online and you were looking at the transactions, you can see here we're still trading between 5 and 20 boxes a day. That is thousands and thousands of dollars of secondary market value shifting around, and that's because players are trying to find a box. Other players are thinking they can cash in and make some quick money, and they're selling a box. I almost feel like we're selling options on the secondary market, and somebody's waiting to see where the ball is going to drop. But either way, this is going to be a very expensive endeavor for players, and a lot of us, well, we're not going to get even lucky enough to open a pack, let alone an entire box. It's already above $1,000 a box here in Canada, plus there would be all kinds of shipping fees and stuff to go along with that, and the import fees. So if you're lucky enough to have already pre-ordered, and you know that your store is going to honor it and everything's good, way to go. If you're one of those guys who has a store that hasn't put anything up for pre-order, you know you're going to be lined up. You know you are just stressing, wondering if you're going to really get some. Even though your store may have promised you, they could have promised other people as well. And that leaves everything kind of up in the air, wondering what the result's going to be. You see what I'm saying? It feels like a FOMO event that hasn't even happened. It feels like a premiere of something that we know is coming up, we're all excited about it. And again, back to the pre-release orders, yeah, I get it. Some people got them for around the $50, $60 US mark. That's still around $100 plus in Canada. And I know that a lot of stores haven't even released that pricing yet. So stay tuned on that stuff. We'll have to find out what more of these LGS stores are going to do. And of course, I've been told to just wait it out. So I'm waiting. We're all going to find out together. And it may be good news or bad news, but it's still going to be news, again, which gets people talking. So what do we have to look forward to then, Moxman, if everything's just off the rails? Well, let's be honest. If you're here at this point in the video, there's going to be a lot of product opened, ungodly amounts of product hitting the open market. Whether it's stores cashing in, whether it's players cracking boxes, YouTubers ripping and shipping, we're going to see a ton of this product opened. We're going to see tons of it flood the market, and the prices are going to react kind of like what we saw with Tarkir Dragonstorm. A lot of these things are going to go really down in price. Again, depending on the cards they give us and in which formats things are found. We don't really know all the layouts yet, but generally speaking, in the past, when we have this much product coming around, you're going to have access to it, which means spoiler season has never been more important for players who might be trying to cash in. They're going to be looking at these cards, looking down the road, and seeing which ones are going to hold value. That FOMO event is a separate issue. It'll come later, but it's still going to happen. See, this is what I find really fascinating about this upcoming set is just the level that people are at. That breakneck pace way up here, where you feel like you're almost drowning, you're just above it, cheap B-movie, horror movie, and you're drowning in quicksand. Because some people are going to get it, some people are not. That's going to leave some people really happy, some people really bitter. But either way, good news or bad news, like I said, it's still news. It's still what people are talking about. It's still what they're like enthralled with the conversation. I kept hearing it all weekend long again. Saying, I'm going to get a box. Did you get a box? No, they were sold out. It went back and forth with like 20 people. And it was just like, wow, this is a really big thing for people. And then a lot of stores saying, there's not going to be enough. There's just not going to be enough to go around. So, how do you guys fall on the fence for this one? Are you with Garfield on this side? Maybe Heathcliff on that side? Some of you guys will get that reference. And before you know it, we're all going to find out together. Because spoiler season, like I said, is going to come around. And then people are either going to say, wow, we all got burned because the cards are horrible. Unlikely. Honestly, I believe unlikely in this case. I think it's going to be a slamming set. Or you're going to have people saying, this is so unfair they didn't print enough. I didn't get any. I don't get to get a collector box. I'm outpriced. It didn't hit the market right. There's going to be so much going on. It's just one of those things. And then in the backdrop, you still have Edge of Eternities. You know, pricing is up, but not a lot is being said. And then, of course, Spider-Man, which that's a whole separate conversation. I know some ordering went up and it's sold out instantly, but it's not a lot yet to really get the numbers for, so I can't talk too much about it until I get more information, hopefully sometime in the next week or two. Guys, thanks again for hanging out with me today. Thanks for being here on the channel. How do you feel now as we get closer? As the tunnel's getting brighter and we can see Final Fantasy in front of us, let's not forget Tarkir Dragonstorm has already been a beast of a set. So what's going to come next? And how are we going to feel when this product either hits or misses? Thanks again for hanging out. Thanks for being here with the Moxman. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Welcome back to the end of the video. You're here. You're looking at the credit scene, hoping for like a little bit of truth, a little bit of the ramble jamble somewhere at the end of this video. What if I told you there was nothing at the end? It's just dead space with nothing going on, and you just want to skip it. Just, Ferris Bueller, it's all over, guys. It's done. Don't worry about it. Just watch something else. Thanks again to my patrons and YouTube membership members. Now here, guys, I just wanted to share a little bit of gameplay here at the end for those who are interested. Now, what I've done with this is giving you guys a little smattering of some matches to show you how the deck was working. These are like mid-game, but it gives you an idea. Now, all of these, when you look at them played out, this is me playing my green-blue. Now, when we're looking at the cards contained within, you'll see cards like Mistrise Village. It pretty much mutes any chance of counterspell, although your gameplay is slowed down yourself. You're making sure your stuff can't get stopped. Guys like Ugin here, they're actually used just for card draw and some life gain and a target on his back. The only real thing you have is the Iron Crag to actually unsummon with the River Regent to start blowing things up, other than when Ugin first enters play or you cast a second Ugin. So don't depend on those too much, but they are good targets. Now, this has tons of ramp. Okay, when we're looking at what we can do, we got cards like Stock Up, but then you've also got Make Your Own Luck. This alone lets you look through, we got to think, 3, and you get to keep 1 and 2 go into your hand, and then Stock Up, it's look at a whole bunch of cards, and then you get to put the rest on the bottom. There's a lot going on with how you can play your game here, how you can make things work for you in terms of the actual battle in front of you. Now you can see here he's got the Serpents coming out. Again, some of these cards are going to rotate, so I'm playing with cards that are pretty much all going to be current except for the Crag. But I know how, other people are playing winning combination decks thinking they're going to take you out. So things like the River Regent, right? Being able to unsummon mass amounts, and he can't counter your spells, right? He can't stop you from doing what you're doing because you're using the Mistrise. So being able to unsummon things and he can't stop it from happening is truly just a beastie thing to do. Now, again, I'm still worried about life gain and life loss. You can see here I'm not attacking too much. I am setting up. I'm in a defensive posture, getting ready to keep things going. He's trying to find a way to get around me, and this happened a lot, by the way, in the game matches I've played, is they are kind of longer, drawn-out matches. This deck is not for everyone. Its biggest flaws are going to be against red ramp, which can really mess you up unless you can have the right drawing hand, and you won't know that until you're actually playing your opponent. And at the same time, you're going to be able to take on pretty much every other deck under the sun. I've got cards like Unsummon things prepared. Oh, you see, he gave up. He knew it was over. Now, let's go to the next match. So this one here, you're catching it near the beginning, but it's probably a pretty fast match because I wouldn't make you guys watch entire 15, 20-minute matches. You can see here, though, the way you're going to play things out, you're trying to get your mana up, and so you can make your own luck and use Stock Up to just keep your drawing going, right? You're just trying to cycle through to get to winning combinations of cards. You're also trying to make sure your opponent can't do too much to you. Now, at the same time, that means you're going to be defensive again, holding them back, and not rushing your gameplay. That's the biggest mistake you can be, trying to flood the battlefield with all kinds of, the River Regent, and just make sure you can beat them down. No, that is not what you are trying to do here. You are trying to slow them up and make sure that you have drawn out all their cards. You want them to have nothing left, okay? You want them to have no way of competing against you, which means you're hitting key targets. Now, if you're playing against an Atraxa deck, well, you're going to use things to get rid of Atraxa. Oh, you see here, you had so much more land than him. He just kind of knew it was on the writing on the wall, so too bad for him. Let's jump to this match. Now, here you can see they've got Sheoldred out. There's all kinds of dangerous things going on, but I'm looking at it saying, do I look that concerned? Not really. I got 15 life, he's got 20. Yeah, I'm taking some damage. Yes, it hurts. Ow. But at this point, you pop in a Nugan. You blow up the good old Sheoldred. He's got the Sirens and stuff out there. He's got, okay, I've got ways of dealing with you. I'm going to eliminate that. Take out your land. Go ahead. All good with me. You can see I have Koma, the Eater of Worlds, but I have another River Regent. I can use that to unsummon Ugin, as well as the Crag if I need to. On the other hand, I may just be using it to beat them down. Again, defensive. I'm not getting Kelly in here to go beat people down. He's just being defensive, holding back, so I can back myself up. This deck has seen a bit of a change from the previous one you guys saw. It also has those 5/5 green and blue lands inside, so you can have a little extra offense later in the game when you've drawn out their cards. Remember, you're just trying to get them really low in their mana base. You're just like, I want to either hit you down so you have no cards and your land is doing nothing for you, or I want you to have no land and tons of cards in your hand because I can come at you too quick for you to really do a lot. Both work well with this type of deck, okay? Now, I didn't give an imagery of the deck. I'll do that here at the very end so you can see everything I'm playing in the current deck, just so you get an idea of what's going on with it. I just wanted to include this gameplay because there's different variations of this deck that I've tried out. Like, I don't need the Spell Pierce at this point in the game. Here is the Koma World Eater. He can't counter it. He can't do anything to it. He's just like, oh, I better come up with some solution for this. And he really doesn't have anything. When you're got cards that can't be countered, he's got one card in hand. I'm drawing and gaining life. Now, you can see here, he's using the Fairy Mastermind because he knows I'm going to draw. So he did the right thing. He's popping his stuff out, but he's searching for an answer to what I'm doing to him right now. He's trying to find the solution, and it's not really coming to him. He's got 6 land. I've already got more than that because of the Crag and because I had the Elf out. Now I look across and say, okay, what are you going to do to me? Pretty much nothing. I have the River Regent in hand. I'm not worried about Ugin dying or living. I'm more concerned with my life total, okay? Making sure I stay above what it's going to be. He beats down a little bit. Okay, took some life down. Nice, I get it. He's drawing cards because of enduring. I can follow that gameplay and I'm all good with that, but it's really not going to be what he needs. I'm going to go ahead, pop in another land. I'm going to use the River Regent to start unsummoning things, making it uncounterable. Now, even if he doesn't have a counterspell, that's not the point. You want to get into the habit of using the card the way it's supposed to be used. Make sure you're making your spell uncounterable so you can target the things you need to target. Even if you don't think he has a counterspell, why take a chance? Just do what you need to do to make it all happen. Go ahead, gain your life, and move on with your day. He's got the Fairy Mastermind coming out again. And he's like, okay, I'm drawing extra cards. This is yummy. I beat him down. Now I'm going to get a whole bunch of my little guys out there, and you do want to hit him. For Coma, you want to hit the person. The Crag also becomes a legendary equipment, 3/3, right? And I usually use that to attach to Coma. That's usually at the end when I want to give somebody a total beatdown. I'm trying to get the game done at that point, but you got to make sure, again, see how he's drawn a lot of cards? At this point in the gameplay, I was kind of wondering what was going to happen, so I was a little bit more concerned, but I was like, okay, this is something I can deal with. Chances are, because I've still got Ugin on the battlefield, he probably can't hit everything with the mana he has available at the moment. I was just kind of wondering what he was going to go with, and here you can see he brings out the Gear Hulk. I'm like, okay, he's got a lifelink guy, he's got a little bit going on. Discarding a card, not too concerned. It's going to be okay. Now you wait for the gameplay to end. Okay, gets a little map token. Yay, you're happy. He's got 2 land again. You're looking at that saying, okay, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be after he started popping everything on. He gives a little bit of a beatdown. I'm just sitting there going, okay, at first I was going to block. But then I said, what happens if he has one of those kill spells that will bring down my total? I said, no, I'm not going to take a chance on that, just in case he has minusing effects. Go ahead again. Jump in through. Of course, I put out the Mist Rise again, just in case. I'm waiting for, somebody to have land destruction that deals with it. So far, it hasn't been a big issue. And again, make my spell uncounterable. And that's why I'm going to go with casting out Make Your Own Luck, because you just want to follow your game plan. I always like to follow my game plan and not go off script. So I'm expecting it. He's looking at it saying, okay, he has something in his hand because that's why it's pausing like this, or it wouldn't have an interaction. So you're sitting there waiting. Okay, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. I know, I'm waiting. But at the same time, I'm going, what cards do I have left? I'm hoping for like a River Regent, maybe get another Ugin just to bounce some things around and start unsummoning things. Either way, I've got options. Worst case scenario is probably a stock up, maybe even 3 land, unfortunately. That can happen. I've had it happen a couple times in gameplay. On the other hand, you might get another Make Your Own Luck, right? You've got options available to you. He's looking at his stuff. He can't do anything, which is fine. I go ahead. I got my options. You can go with stock up, or you can go Make Your Own Luck, but I'll take Make Your Own because it costs 5. It's going to make it easier to cast next time, and I've got those cards left in my hand. I give him a beatdown. He's going to go with the blocks, but chances are this is the end, right? You can see it coming. He's looking at things going, what can I do to block things? Who's got trample? Who doesn't? How is this going to work out? And then it all comes in, okay? And he's not going to be able to get the life back, and that's it. There you go. I wanted to show you guys this. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. You survived all that gameplay? Amazing. Now, I had a lot of fun playing with that deck. The games are long though, okay? When you're playing blue-green, you're trying to control things and keep a certain tempo and pace, and you can't overshoot your load and say, I'm just going to wipe somebody out, because too many times I've come up with cards like the Urza's Chalice thing that blows up the whole battlefield. They've got Sunfall. There's all kinds of cards they can have to use against you. So you need to pace things out to make sure you draw as many of those cards away from them while using cards like Stock Up and Make Your Own Luck to get more of your stuff onto the battlefield and be able to maintain it. I can't tell you how many times I've had to use a River Regent to unsummon another River Regent and kind of bounce them back and forth while dealing with small targets, or having to use those to bounce Ugin and recast him to start eliminating things as he comes into play. There's a lot you can do with it. You just have to pay attention to the little things, and the rest of it takes care of itself. The biggest threats always, though, are those red ramp decks, man. You can't do anything. You could die literally on like turn 2, right? The end, like your end of turn 2, their beginning turn 3. The game's over because of Voice of Victory with the Corey, right? It just takes you out so quick. You're like, oh, this wasn't even a game. I played for 1 minute and 18 seconds. So I don't really count those against me. Yes, you will face off against those though. So be prepared, guys. Sometimes there is no answer, and it wasn't a lot of fun to play. Depends on the game style you're playing. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for being here at the end. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay video. And as far as it goes for Final Fantasy, be afraid. Be very, very afraid. Ramble jamble.